On August 28, 1963, over 250,000 people gathered at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., for one of the largest civil rights demonstrations in American history. The March on Washington was a defining moment in the fight for racial equality, culminating in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legendary "I Have a Dream" speech. The March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom was organized to demand an end to racial segregation and discrimination, as well as economic justice. Led by civil rights organizations, labor unions, and religious groups, the march united Americans from all walks of life to call for meaningful civil rights legislation. The march was intended to push Congress to pass civil rights legislation, which was stalled at the time. Economic justice was also a major theme, as the marchers demanded jobs and fair wages, particularly for Black Americans. The coalition of civil rights leaders who organized the event represented a wide range of causes but stood united for equality. The defining moment of the March on Washington was Martin Luther King Jr.'s stirring "I Have a Dream" speech. Standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial, King called for a future where people would be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. His words became a rallying cry for justice and equality. The speech was not only a call to end racial injustice but a vision of a future where unity and equality prevail. King's speech is remembered as one of the greatest orations in American history, capturing the hopes and dreams of a generation. The symbolic power of the Lincoln Memorial as the backdrop, linking the speech to Abraham Lincoln's legacy of emancipation. The March on Washington was a turning point in the civil rights movement. Just a year later, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed, outlawing racial segregation and discrimination. The march not only demonstrated the strength of the movement, but also paved the way for future legislation, including the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The march brought massive national and international attention to the civil rights movement and accelerated political change. The peaceful and powerful demonstration proved that nonviolent resistance could create lasting political and social change. Its legacy lives on in modern movements for racial and social justice. More than 60 years after the March on Washington, Dr. King's dream remains as relevant as ever. His words continue to inspire movements for equality and justice, reminding us all that the fight for freedom is ongoing. The March on Washington stands as a testament to the power of unity and peaceful protest in the pursuit of a more just America. The March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom was not just a moment in history. It was the beginning of a movement that continues to this day. As we honor the legacy of the march, let us continue to work toward the dream of equality, justice, and freedom for all. On-screen text: how does Dr. King's "I Have a Dream" speech inspire you today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe Emgotv1.